Revenge, we know, is prohibited by all means. The Bible, the Torah, prohibits anyone from taking revenge. But yet, it's a human reaction that when someone wrongs you, you feel compelled that you must take revenge. It's a human natural instinct that drives you. And sometimes the drive is so powerful and is so passionate that it distorts your judgments. And sometimes when we take revenge, we're in a phase that we didn't even realize what we're doing. And we seem to feel that once we take revenge, it's going to make us feel better. That if we inflicted upon the person what they have done to you, or even worse, that is it going to truly make you feel better for what you have just endured? So obviously the concept of revenge is prohibited by all means. And even though it's a natural human instinct that when you were wronged, that you just feel like you got to give it right back, and give it right back with interest. So we know that it goes contrary to what the Bible, the Torah teaches us. But how do we as humans deal with that? How do we deal with that challenge that when someone wronged you, and wronged you so blatantly, that why should they just get away with it? Don't you feel it's your place to take the law in your own hands and take revenge from the person who has wronged you? Comes the Torah, comes the Bible, and tells us no. What happened to you is unfortunate. What happened to you is sad. And when you cry, God cries with you. But it is not your place to take revenge. Revenge does not have any place in humanity. Now, when you have faith, and when you understand that we are not here alone in this world, but there is a God in heaven, there's a judge in heaven who sees everything, who hears everything, who is aware of everything, and everything that happens in this world happens with divine providence, then you would take comfort to know that the person who has wronged you will have to face judgment. Judgment by the heavenly court. But it is not your place to act as the judge, to take revenge. There was once a lecturer who's explaining this concept. And the way he explained it was about what happens when you get someone who steps on your toe. Someone stabs you on your toe. Hurts. What's your first reaction? You could go and step back on his toe or her toe. That would be revenge. Or do you pause for a second and you think to yourself, okay, what just happened here? My toe got stepped upon. Why? Why did I deserve this pain? What have I done? Or why am I going through this pain? Which is a whole separate discussion that not necessarily is it for anything that you did. But the reality is someone stepped on your toe. Now, is it your place to attack the person and take revenge, step on their toe? Think about it. Did that person choose to step on your toe? Did that person go out of his way premeditated to step on your toe? Or did he just step on your toe by happenstance? Well, there are no happenstance. It was divine providence. It was meant to be. So now the person who stepped on your toe has to ask himself the question, why did God choose me to be the stepper? Why did God choose me to cause the other person pain? Yeah, that's a good question. You need to ask yourself, why were you chosen to be the deliverer of the pain to this person? But when you have faith, and you have faith in Almighty, in God, then you do understand that there's a perspective to everything. That yes, for whatever reason, your toe had to be stepped on. But don't get angry on the person who did it. And certainly don't take revenge on that person. Because that person has to deal with his relationship with God. Why isn't God using him to deliver love and happiness and comfort? Why did God choose to use him to deliver pain and suffering? Which is that other person's challenge. But for yourself, at the moment, restrain your anger and your instinct to want to take revenge, because revenge has no place in humanity. And it's hard. It's not easy to hold back, especially when it hits you emotionally, especially when someone wrongs you in such a blatant way, either physically, emotionally, or physically, or spiritually, or hurts one of your family members, or ruins your properties. There's so many things that you could be offended, and your natural instinct is, I gotta get him back. That's when you take control over yourself. And that's when you look up to heaven and you sacrifice your instincts for the better good, and you hold back your revenge. Let me share with you the best revenge story I've ever read. And this is the best type of revenge a person can take. Where I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, there was a neighborhood called Borough Park. There were about 100,000 Jewish people living in this neighborhood. Every morning, there was an elderly man who would stand at the corner of 13th Avenue. Every morning, at clockwork, he would stand there for about 30 to 45 minutes and just gaze. He would just look. He wouldn't cross the street. He wouldn't read anything. Just stand at a corner by the bus stop and gaze. And people, passerbys, looked at him and they figured, this is an elderly man, perhaps a little senile, and this is his routine. This is what he likes to do. He gets up every morning, stands by the bus stop, and spends 45 minutes gazing. Until someone bravely went over to him, says, "Good morning." He says, "Good morning." He says, "I got to ask you, I've watched you stand here every weekday morning and gazing. Can I ask you what you're looking at?" Well, he looks up and he explains. He says, "I want you to know that I survived Auschwitz. When I was in Auschwitz, I witnessed the mothers arriving with their children. I witnessed how the SS Nazi guards, may their names be obliterated from history, would yank the children out of the mother's hands and send them straight to the gas chambers. I saw hundreds, if not thousands, of these children being brought to the gas chambers. I stood there helpless, nothing I could do to save these children. I made a vow that one day I am going to take my revenge. I survived the war. I made it to the shores of America. I am here living in Brooklyn, New York. I get up every morning and I stand here at the corner to watch their revenge against Hitler and all the Nazis and all the enemies of the Jewish people. I watch the little children happily kissing their mothers goodbye, dancing and singing and running onto the bus with their backpacks and the books, going to study freely. Hundreds of children every morning line up to go on these buses happily and freely. Now I have my revenge. That's what he said. That is the type of revenge that is permitted. How do we conquer darkness? Not with more darkness, but rather with light. That type of a revenge is not only supported, but encouraged. The revenge against evil is goodness. Yes, if you have to take revenge against some dark evil, your revenge is going to be by doing something positive, by doing something meaningful, by doing something accomplishing, by giving an extra compliment, being kind, being generous, being soft, being loving, being caring, holding back from anger. That is your revenge to darkness. That is your revenge of what you have been wronged. And this type of revenge is the way we are going to revenge all the sadness that happened up until now, is by us doing greater and bigger kindness to others and bringing light to the world, because a little bit of light pushes away a lot of darkness. How much more so, a lot of light. God bless you.